welcome to our webinar today. This is Verizon Small Business Digital Ready. We have a fireside chat and a workshop planned for you all on today. Now, on behalf of our president, Ron Busby Sr., our board, our chambers, and our staff, I want to thank you for registering and attending today. I'm Philip W. Dunn, USBC's Chamber and Business Engagement Manager, and USBC is affectionately known as the global voice of Black business. Now, we represent over 170 Black chambers of commerce across the nation and small businesses. And we're also founded on 6 pillars of service. And those pillars are advocacy, access to capital, contracting, entrepreneurial training, chamber development, and information and media. Now, in today's webinar, we will introduce USBC members to Verizon Small Business Digital Ready. This is a free and valuable resource. Now, we will help you understand how to get started on the platform and make the most of its offerings. So the entrepreneurial training that we have today, it equips business owners with tools and knowledge to navigate access to capital, contracting, and most importantly, certifications. Now, today we're going to highlight some strategies for winning contracts and negotiating effectively. So I encourage you to drop your questions into the chat. We'll address as many as possible at the end of today's webinar. Now, if you have any questions at the end of the presentation that you want us to answer, make sure to include those in an email to programs@usblackchambers.org, and we'll make sure to get those answered by the experts. Now, before we get started, I want you all to allow me to introduce you to Elizabeth Detka. She is the Verizon Small Business Digital Ready Program Manager, and Elizabeth is going to provide us with a high-level overview of Verizon Small Business Digital Ready, including program goals, key components. She'll talk a little bit about some of the courses, the coaching, the incentives, and the partnership with USBC. And she'll talk a little bit about how the Verizon Small Business Digital Ready content is developed by small business owners like Twyla Garrett, who's with us today, and for small business owners. So Elizabeth, take it away.
Thank you so much, Philip. I'm really thrilled to be here with such a vibrant group of small business owners and to be part of a webinar hosted by one of Verizon's longest standing partners, the United States Black Chambers. So really pleased to be here and excited for today's presentation. As Philip mentioned, my name is Elizabeth Detka. I'm a program manager on Verizon Small Business Digital Ready team. This team is part of Verizon's larger Responsible Business Initiative. And I actually come to all of you as a small business owner myself, a former small business owner. I started and ran a bakery in Rwanda, a women-owned and run bakery for over 10 years. So certainly come to this from both a professional perspective, but also a personal passion and understanding for small business owners. So moving on to the next, we can stay right here actually, and I'll go right into our program goals. So at Verizon, we really understand that small businesses are truly the lifeblood of our communities. And we also know that technology plays an increasingly critical role in small business success. So that's why in 2020, Verizon made a 10-year commitment to support 1 million small businesses by 2030, with resources to help each and every one of you here today thrive in the digital economy. We have a specific focus on supporting women and minority-owned businesses. We know that small business owners usually get into business because you have a passion or a talent. You start a bakery because you love baking and you're pretty good at it. But you have to wear a lot of hats in your business. You're juggling finance and marketing and social media, operations, and baking. We really want to give you the tools to make some of those jobs easier. And that's really what we're here to kind of walk you through today. So moving on to the next slide. This is really why we launched Verizon Small Business Digital Ready. It's a completely free platform for small business owners that brings together a wide range of resources to support your success. So I don't know if anyone here is actually already a Small Business Digital Ready user. If you are, would love to see you let us know in the chat. It's always nice to know that maybe some of you are already members and are familiar with our courses and events. But honestly, whether you're familiar with the program or learning about it for the first time today, I just want to take a few moments to make sure you're truly aware of all of the resources available to you for free through this platform, because there are a lot. And so again, whether it's your first time or you've had some experience on the platform, there's always new things to explore. So Small Business Digital Ready has over 60 courses. Many of these courses are also available in Spanish, and we also offer many courses with Chinese subtitles. We have a full calendar of events every month with industry experts. We offer networking opportunities both in person and online for you to connect with and learn from your peers, which we know is such an important part of your journey in being a small business owner. And throughout the year, periodically, we offer the opportunity to apply for a grant of up to $10,000. This grant is exclusive to Small Business Digital Ready users. And we also offer a whole variety of funding opportunities through our funding marketplace, as well as different product discounts from Verizon and our partners. So I'll be going into all of this now in more detail, starting with our courses on the next slide. So on the Small Business Digital Ready platform, we equip small businesses with the knowledge to support your own business. As mentioned, we provide over 60 courses across a really wide variety of topics. Everything from branding and connecting with your customers to cybersecurity and protecting your business. Really everything under the sun that you can imagine. We really aim to be there for you and your business at every sort of stage of your growth. Our courses include videos, quizzes, downloadable tools, and resources so that you really get a full learning experience. And as mentioned, we also provide courses in Spanish as well as some with Chinese subtitles. And all of those resources, translated worksheets and everything can be found in those languages as well. And the most important thing to me, especially just even personally as a small business owner, all of the courses are taught by small business owners themselves who really understand the ins and outs of owning a business. So you're really hearing directly from your peers, from those experts who understand intimately the topics that they are teaching. And most importantly, with the courses, we really know that time is the most valuable resource that you have as a small business owner. And so courses are really our best resource to do on your own schedule when you have either 10 minutes or 30 minutes or want to sort of break it down into even smaller chunks. We realize that you're juggling a lot. And so this is really the resource that is extremely flexible in your learning journey. Additionally, moving on to the next slide, we have expert events. So we're hosting live events for you to learn directly from industry experts. So our expert events include an Ask the Expert format, which is a workshop led by an industry leader that includes a really extensive Q&A. We also offer what we call hands-on help. So this is a more personalized, one-on-one structured session to get you support on a specific aspect of your business. So our events really cover a variety of topics, again, from like social media, how to use it to build engagement and to grow your business, to finance and ways to increase your cash flow. So again, we're really trying to meet you where you are, support you at every stage of your growth. We also offer networking. So moving to the next slide. So we have opportunities for you and your peers to connect and network through what we call our small business chats. We also have what's called peer-to-peer check-ins and in-person events. So small business chats is more a panel format. Peer-to-peer check-ins is a little bit more direct, where you're put into breakout rooms and can connect directly with other small business owners to talk about different topics. And our in-person events are events that are led by our incredible partners and our community advocates to really bring people, as we say, IRL, in real life. We really want to create community amongst our users to support each other, honestly, through both the successes and the challenges of entrepreneurship. Moving on to the next slide. So Verizon Small Business Digital Ready has a number of offers exclusively for our users. So whether it's a free membership to Constant Contact or a discount for an HR service like Indeed, we honestly have something for you. We also award over $1 million in grants each year through our nonprofit partner list, and we actually have an opportunity to apply for that grant open on the platform right now. So feel free to certainly check that out and see if you would like to apply. But really today, I also really want to highlight one of our offers in particular. So moving on to the next slide. So we are working with Constant Contact to offer 500 free standard Constant Contact accounts for Digital Ready members who complete a total of 5 resources in either online marketing, branding, or social media resource categories. Once these 500 accounts are redeemed, we do have a limited number of them. Digital Ready will be offering a 50% discount for life on any Constant Contact plan with a monthly subscription. You just need to be a Digital Ready user to redeem. And I'm highlighting this because this is a new offer. We've been offering our grants for a long time, and we certainly hope you check those out. But this is something that we are adding to sort of our toolkit of ways that we can support you as a small business owner. On the topic of funding, I also want to highlight on the next slide our funding marketplace. So Verizon Small Business Digital Ready has partnered with NextStreet to offer the small business funding marketplace for digital ready users. It's a tool designed to empower small businesses by providing a really carefully curated set of small business loans and grants in one streamlined marketplace. So you can use lots of different filters to make it easier to find and compare funding resources. Our partners at NextStreet have really screened all products to ensure that they are non-predatory and provide really fair and transparent pricing, because we know that that is of utmost importance to you. And the funding marketplace, again, covers both loans and grants. So you can really kind of choose your own adventure, understand, what may be the best fit for you. We also have lots of different courses in our finance category on the platform to help you navigate some of those situations and make some of these funding decisions. So that's really to provide a pretty comprehensive overview of the different parts of the Digital Ready platform, hoping that gave you a good introduction to what we have to offer. But moving on to the next slide, yes, our impact. So I can talk about the Digital Ready program all day, but what really brings this to life is how we have heard directly from our members and their interaction with our program. So far, for over 450,000 small businesses have joined Small Business Digital Ready, and they've seen real impacts in their business. So 72% say Digital Ready has had an effect on increasing their professional network. 67% say it's had an effect on increasing revenue and profitability. We've awarded over $13.5 million in grants, and we're offering grants every year. And in addition to that, our members are really engaged. They've completed over 600,000 courses and events since the launch of Digital Ready in 2020. So I'll really end with that to really just demonstrate what you can expect and what our members to date have said about our program. And I know Twyla is joining me here today, and that will be honestly sort of the ultimate example of what you all can expect through your interaction with Digital Ready. And just really appreciate the opportunity to be here today.
Wow. Thank you so much for that, Elizabeth. That was very impressive to see the impact of what the Verizon Small Business Digital Ready platform has had on small businesses. And it was very informative and helpful to see the full scope and breadth of the program. So thank you for your leadership at Verizon Small Business Digital Ready and for your partnership with USBC and for the awesome incentives that you're sharing with all of the members who participate on the platform. Also, I want to just give a special shout out to Awana, to Jasmine, to Sandra, to Alexander, to Sydney, to my fellow Texan, to Vonda. I see you. Craig, Delisa, Tracy, and Ganell. So definitely appreciate you all for tuning in. And thank you again, Elizabeth. Now, it is my pleasure to introduce our next speaker. Now, this is someone who truly embodies the spirit of entrepreneurial leadership. This is someone who really makes a strong impact when it comes to small business. Twyla Garrett. Twyla is a dynamic, multi-sector business leader and serial entrepreneur. Now, she's the founder and CEO of Obakazi Garrett Holdings and also the Africa Property Investment Corporation, Growth Management Services, Inc., and the Impact League Mastermind. Now, this is a cross-border platform designed to elevate small business owners through strategic connection, accountability, and growth. Now, she brings deep expertise in government contracting, business development, and international market expansion, and she serves as a subject matter expert for Verizon Small Business Digital Ready. Now, today, she'll be sharing some insights from both her personal journey and her work with entrepreneurs across the US and in Africa. So please join me in welcoming Twyla Garrett.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Phil. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm so excited. Verizon has done an amazing job in putting this together, and I'm so excited that for those who don't know about it, I'm going to tell you how it connects to you and how it actually helps bridge the gap of so many things that can happen. And first, I want to say thank you. You know, the small business Black, yeah, let me tell you, the Black Chamber of Commerce has been a part of my integral entrepreneurial experience for years. My office was in DC for 17 years, and you served as a platform for resources, for just to get away and have some education, and then be able to talk to some people that can help me move the needle as I moved, expanded, sold businesses. So I'm excited to be here today, and thank you for the opportunity.
We thank you, and we're so glad to have you. And what we've done is we've designed a series of questions that we're going to ask you. And then also, I know that you have sort of a mini workshop that you're going to put on. Now, but first, I want to jump into these questions because I know we don't have a ton of time, and the people are in the chats, and they're really excited to have you here. But I wonder if you could tell us the first question here from your experience as both a small business owner and an educator, what are some of the most common pitfalls that entrepreneurs face when trying to access capital or in pursuing contracting opportunities?
Well, I think first let's talk about capital. I think a lot of times the biggest challenge is they don't understand what being bankable means, right? And it is a mystery. Believe me, it's a huge mystery. When you start a business and you go and try to get credit from a bank, 9 times out of 10, you're turned down. And even if you are what you consider bankable, you're still somewhat turned down. And so you have to understand what they need. And a lot of it has to do with the way you start. And I see so many entrepreneurs start out of the gate with so much passion, but no foundation. And so one of the biggest pitfalls is having to back that train up after you then came out of the gate to come and be more solid in what you're doing. First and foremost, legal documents. Secondly, books. Your numbers talk to you. I'm an accountant by trade, so numbers are very important to me. I know how to scale a business with a number. I know how to close a business with a number. More importantly, I know when that number's not working, when I need to change my pricing. And so I think a lot of small businesses do not understand that dynamic. So it's always going to be a challenge mostly with the pitfalls of getting capital. Now, when you talk about contracting, I think the other biggest pitfall is a lot of times you want to be the leader. We come out of the gate and we don't really understand what partnership is, right? Teaming, joint venturing, relationship building. I grew my business in DC as a subcontractor until I was ready to be that prime. And I think a lot of people don't understand tier one, tier two relationships, how to build them, what that means. And I'm going to talk a little bit about it when I do my little workshop a little later on. But those are the two main components, being able to come out and team together and figure out how you move from contracting. And then you got to pick the lane that you're going to go in. You really do need to understand government contracting comes with a lot of bigger projects, but little smaller profits, right? And it's a bigger competitive pool. So when you're going to get smaller projects and smaller profits, does that grow your business? Or do you come over to the private side where you have a little bit more challenge because it's going to be everybody coming after it, but you got bigger profit margins that you can get. And you got to play the game a little differently on how you go out and get the relationships. It really is relationships driven then, because they can award your contract just because they like you. And then have to play all the things in the government rules when you're in the government. So those are the two things I think we need to focus on when you look at those particular areas.
Perfect, perfect. So have a plan in mind, be prepared to exercise on that plan, understand the numbers, understand the environment that you play in. Now that leads me into this next question. And I've always been told that running a successful business or building a successful business starts with vision, it starts with strategy, and it starts with tactics. I wonder if you can tell us what key mindsets, actions, or tools can help business owners better position themselves for success.
Think when you start with mindset, when you come out the gate, you're a solopreneur, you're everything. You're the CEO, the CFO, the COO. You don't even know what O's you are, but you're going to take the role of every single one of them because you don't have money. And so the mindset you have to create is really coming out of the gate as if you're bigger than what you are. And you have the ability to either barter to get the legal help you need, the accounting books you need, to get accountings, to get lawyers, or you save until you have that ability to come out of the gate the right way. It is a different mindset from a 9 to 5. I started my career as a government employee, and I'm so grateful I did because it gave me something that I probably would have never got in corporate America, and that was the rigor and the discipline. Everything in government created volumes, and even though you moaned and groaned and they talked about all the paperwork reduction act, well, that paperwork never went anywhere. It just changed colors and you came back the next day with a whole bunch of craziness, right? But what it did for me is it gave me the patience to go through it. I had to read. I had to make sure I understood. I had to take the time to understand the mechanics. And so when I start a business, I'm in that same mindset. And so that discipline of understanding that my job doesn't stop. You know, it was great when I got off to work from 9 to 5, or I would come in at 6 in the morning, be off at 3 in San Diego. You can be at the beach by 4. That's not an entrepreneurial mindset. And if you think that is, you're probably going to be broke. And so you need to figure out how you move that needle. So mindset is very, very key when you start off. And you got to understand that you can't be everything. Focus in the lane that you know and go get the other lanes accomplished by experts that you have in your circle. And if they're not in your circle, you need to go find them.
Now, I took a bunch of takeaways from that. Number one, be mighty. Even though you're small, think as if you are big. Number two, stack your chips, save your money until you can pursue greater funding opportunities. Be disciplined in your pursuit. Gain an understanding of the business that you're in and the environment that you operate in, and then focus and stay in your lane. So this is all perfect. Now, for those businesses that are looking for that additional leg up, talk to us about how certifications fit into this whole plan.
And I'm going to be very honest. So, Phil, when I started, I was a woman owned small business, but I never won one contract in 9 years as a woman owned small business. I competed. I knew how to compete. What I did not want to do is use something as a crutch that then I could not compete in the real world. So what I believe certifications do for you is that's that trick you have, that one trick you have in the back of your pocket when somebody throws out, you know what, Twyla, if you were a certified minority business, oh, really, that's what you need? Well, here, I am. But I don't lead with it. And I don't encourage anyone to lead with it, because if you lead with it and you think that's what's going to happen, you're going to be ass out. I mean, I'm just being very honest with you. You're not going to be able to get where you're going to go. I have many examples that I coach right now of 8A businesses that are 8A certified. And if you don't know what that program is, it's an 8A certification through SBA. You only can get it once. You got about 9 years to go in there and try to strike some deals. So what it does is limits your competition, because they can put you in that lane and you only have to compete with 1 or 2 people. Well, guess what? I have about 4 people I'm mentoring now that got 8A certification. They're in their 8th year, 7th year, and they never won a thing. Because you know what? They thought because when they got that certification, that was it. That was the end all be all. I'm great. I'm going to get business. but they didn't know how to compete. Their pricing was crazy. They came out of the gate thinking that they can do 17%, 20% margins in the federal government. Right. Be realistic. And so now they got 1 year to try to make it work. And we're trying to figure out how to partner with them strategically with people who knew how to do it. So my biggest advice on certification, go get them, but get the ones you need because you have to pay for them. They're not free. You know, you can do the woman on small business certification, but normally that's going to be a third party provider. And every year they're going to certify if you are a minority and a woman, and you got to pay $500. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you're not going to use it and you're not going to be able to leverage it, but I leverage mine as a secondary, not the primary.
Awesome, awesome advice. Now, let's take a step back real quick. You said 9 years before you won a contract. Talk to us about the importance of stick-to-itiveness and staying in the game if you believe in your business and your skill set. Real
Well,
quick.
it was 9 years before I won a set aside contract. I won contracts, but I didn't win set aside. I went full and open. And when I came out of the gate, because I came out of the government, I knew how to write RFPs. I knew how to write a statement of work, how to interpret a statement of work, come up with a management plan, get a technical approach, and price it. And I also knew what the margins were in the government. So I had a leg up because I was able to move that needle. And then I also had partners. When I came out, I was top secret poly. I knew they needed me before I needed them. So I knew how to market myself to the right big boy that can mentor me. And that was the SAICs, the Booz Allens, the Raytheons. Those were the big boys that shielded Twyla for several years until Twyla ended up coming and competing against them and winning. But I learned from them. Not that they gave it to me and they were going to say, "Here, Twyla, this is what we're teaching you." I kept my ear to the ground. I hustled. And what I didn't do is I didn't live beyond my means. When I left the government as a GS 13, 14, I made 70K. Well, I made a hell of a lot more. I tripled my salary, but I still lived like I made 70K, and I saved my money so I can take all my 1099s and move them into W-2 roles in 4 years. And that's what happened. So I think you got to be strategic about how you move in the area. So I won. I did well, but my very first set aside was 9 years later, and it was a State Department contract that was set aside for a woman owned, and I competed against it and won. But I didn't. I never led with it. Now, did the agencies use it? Oh yeah, oh yeah. But they used it because I was a tier one, or a tier one or a tier two sub. And they didn't use it as the prime, they used it as a sub. So it still counts, even though I didn't lead with it.
Perfect, perfect, perfect. All right. Twyla has given us an example of the fraction of the blueprint that we'll need in order to move forward as business owners. And sorry, everybody, for that. I just had to touch on that question. It wasn't a part of our original plan, but I wanted to bring us back to that. But it takes us into this next question. Now, some of the business owners that are watching, Twyla, there's a bit of a gap between where they are today and where you were when you first got started, and then where you
Mhm.
are today. Now, talk to us about how platforms like Verizon Small Business Digital Ready can help bridge those gaps, whether it's through the training or building the confidence that they need to take the next step.
It's both. It's both. I want to commend Verizon for staying in it. In this environment right now, we know we got a lot of people running. We got a lot of people backtracking and peddling and doing a whole bunch of stuff. And Verizon has stayed true to their mission. And so I thank you for that. And I thank you for, I've been riding with Verizon in this for now going into 4 years. And I'm grateful that this opportunity is there for small business. I wish I had this. Because this isn't that let's go to the SBA office or go to a PTAC office and get a template. What we've done is that they've hired us, people who are living it, breathing it, going through it, the drama, the success, and everything else, to come in and teach you between 10 minutes and 30 minutes some quick nuggets. Now, what this does give you, if you are first starting out, you need to be right in this platform. If you senior, you still need to be in it because there's some things that you probably have no idea you need to address, like optimization, right? And SEO, and now AI, and how that's funneling in. And I love the fact that what Verizon has done is they've kept up with the trend, right? As the last 4 years, 5 years, the trend started to move. Now AI is so popular. How do you embed it? And people were running from it, but now they're in it. And so did Verizon. The actual platform is there. If you're a small business and have no clue, and there's many of us, the bad thing about the internet is that it told everybody they can become an entrepreneur, which is crazy. right? Because this is not everybody's belly weight. People get in and get broke and then figure out they got to go back and go get a job. I got many of those. And then I'm mentoring now. So what you need to do is go to a Verizon platform, sign up, and take a couple of our entry courses, right? Foundational courses. What does it mean to start a business, right? Mindset. And then the other thing is, what do you need to start a business? Most of you guys don't even have the proper paperwork. You claim you're in business, but you're not. And because you work from home, you might think you're still in business, but you're not. And so this application and platform gives you that, it makes you think. It triggers things that make you go, in those 10 to 30 minutes, do I have any of that? And then if you don't, what you get from this is a list of action items to go find people like me. Right? I started the Impact League because of people like you that started businesses, got out the gate in 2 weeks, they got their first client, and then they crashed and burned. And they didn't price themselves right. They had no clue, or they got sued. I have a person right now that I'm helping. She got sued because she don't have no insurance. So guess what? They're suing and taking her home. They're trying to take her home because she didn't come out the gate the right way. Verizon gives you a lot of the nuggets that you need to then take that and go to experts that you're going to really need in your business throughout your journey. Right? When I said stay in your lane, stay in the lane and then hire the experts that can bring you and bring those experts in. If you can't afford them, then barter with them. What do you have to offer that you can get to them, and what can they give to you until you can grow up enough to pay them? Don't stay in a barter, because here's the thing about bartering. I've opened up nightclubs and restaurants and a multi-million-dollar jazz supper club. And what most people did is they came and wanted something for free. I'm in business. I ain't about free. You can go to my charity to get free. So you got to understand your value, your purpose, and how you actually are going to drive the needle. And normally it's the friends and the families that are around you that's going to sometimes be that distraction. And you got to know to put them in their lane. I fired my father. I fired my brother. Because what I realized very quickly is that sometimes you better not put your family in your business, because it's going to create some issues. So this system of the platform gave me the ability. And I want to say this, Phil, what's interesting about Verizon's platform, I use it. I don't do technology. I don't. 2 years ago, they were talking about, Twilight, you got to SEO this and SEO that. I went and took the Verizon courses. I was like, yeah, here we go. And when you top secret and you couldn't even really be on the internet and do anything really when I came out in the game. And so I was more private. And so I had to go seek help. So what I did is I used the platform, took a couple courses, and then I found the expert and hired them to help me move the needle. So this platform is vital for anyone. So it's not that just for the people that's just coming out of the gate, but for people like me who are very seasoned, multi-million-dollar businesses. I've done it, but I don't do certain things, and I needed to figure out what that is. That's why also in the league, we got growth hackers. I didn't know what a growth hacker was. I did one campaign for the Impact League that hit 105,000 views. That's because I have a growth hacker on my team. And so the Impact League actually put subject matter experts together to coach you to get you through it. Get you a roadmap. You need a roadmap. If you don't have one, if you don't have a business plan and you're on this call, you need to call me. I'm going to put my information. If you don't have the components, if you don't have a strategic plan, if you don't even have an exit strategy, what the hell are you doing if you don't know when you're going to go at the end? And so that's the biggest thing. I know when I start a business, when I'm going to sell it. Or at least in my mind, I have it in my plan of how I'm going to sell it, how I'm going to grow it. So these are things I think you all need.
You actually hit two birds with one stone with that response, Twyla, because my next question was going to be, what do you tell people to get started when they join the Verizon Small Business Digital Ready? For you, it sounds like your response is just get started. Don't wait
Yeah, if
for
you're
a
new,
specific
if
plan.
you're new field, they need to come in, and Verizon has done a masterful job of laying it out. Go to the beginning courses. How to get started. What is your business structure? What is a business plan? How do you read your books? How do you even know what books are? Do you even know what an EBITDA is? And if you don't know what EBITDA is and you're on this call, you need to call me too, because that means you're not managing by numbers and you probably broke and you got the wrong price and you need to come to my pricing class that's in Verizon. So these are things that you need to do before you go out here and try to sell to somebody. Please make sure your number is right. Do you know how many people approach me, especially now that I'm actually soliciting for people to do things for my hotel that I'm building? They want to sell to me, and I look at them and I'm like, did you price this for Africa or did you price this for the US? And they look at me like, well, what's the difference? I said, it's a hell of a difference, and you would have never got my business. And see, that's what I'm saying. Education is key. Education is power. And so Verizon, if you're new, start there. If you're seasoned, go to where you don't know. Sit down with yourself, do an honest assessment and say, okay, I don't know about technology. I'm not good with AI. Then go and take these courses. Get some smart about AI. Get the little nuggets that you need, because if you're seasoned, you know probably resources that you can now go pull. And if you don't, contact me. I'll put you in place with some people. Contact me through the Impact League. I'm gonna give you my information at the end. But it's about having those doors. And the last thing I want to say is, one of the things that is very and obvious when I started business, and it's still obvious today, is there are doors that you can't open. There are doors that's never going to be open for you. So either you're gonna have to try to kick them in, and then when you get in, you're gonna have to, that's why people do that crabs in the barrel, because once they get in, they don't want to bring nobody else in because it took so hard to get in. But part of the issue is you need to create your own damn room. That's what the Impact League did. We start spending with each other. We have over $40 million of revenue within each other that we pass among 28, 30 companies. So you got to start creating some way, and now you can pitch new ideas, products, and services. The Verizon Business Network gives you all of those strategies that you can start using to implement. Believe me, take advantage. Take advantage. And I was listening to the numbers. It says 600 courses taken, but when you look at 450,000 people, that means they took maybe a course and a half, or maybe a course, and maybe some people took two. There are 60 courses there, guys. You should be taking more than 20. You hear me? Because at the end of the day, you don't know what you don't know. And if you are confident and real to yourself, you're going to realize that you need every one of these courses, all 60, in every language if you're trying to do business internationally. So I'm learning multiple languages because I'm over there now dealing with it. And so Verizon gives you a good semblance of how to move the needle. It should be 450 people on the platform, but 3 million classes taken. That's where it should be. Because at the end of the day, you need all these classes.
Twyla, I'm checking the comments. We're getting a lot of 100s. We're getting some amens. Dr. Brown
Amen.
has said, Twyla always drops the truth. And so I'm going to, out of respect for your time, I'm going to move us forward so that you don't fire me. I'm going to move us forward
I don't want to fire nobody.
into the workshop session. And I
Okay.
want to thank you for this wisdom.
Thank you.
And thank you in advance for what you're about to share with us in the next 15, 20 minutes.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you so much, Phil, for the fireside chat. Okay, we're going to talk about how to win contracts. So here's the agenda. We cut it down. So this course is normally about 45 minutes to an hour, and then we take some questions and answers, and it's live, and we get in. But I'm going to talk a little bit about winning techniques and how do you compel your proposal to be winning and stunning, and then also how do you stand out amongst the competition. If you don't know your competition, something is wrong with you. So next slide. Advance me, please. Okay, techniques you're going to learn. Some new strategies. They might not be new to the old season. I see Michelle Taylor's in there. So Michelle is OAT. She knows how to compete. She wins multiple million-dollar contracts. So if y'all don't know Michelle, you guys need to definitely chime her. She's in there, and I'm so glad she's a friend and a sister of mine. So here's the thing that you need to understand. When you're going after contracts, you have to understand the scope of work of what they're doing, right? You also better build relationships before you come in the gate. All right. Before you come in that gate trying to come down and kick down the door, you better understand the client that you're trying to bid for. And then what is your value proposition? If you cannot tell me what differentiates you from your neighbor or your other friend, then you really ain't got much to offer. And why should I hire you? Next slide. Okay. Strategies that you need to win. You got to find out what is that compelling proposal look like. Now, this is when you do research. Now, I'm going to talk about private sector work last, but more importantly, government work, because everybody wants to try to get government contracts because they're longer, right? You got a little bit more stability with a government contract, but you also have a lower margin. So some of the strategies that you had, go ahead and advance that for me, please. Because here's some of the strategies that you have. It's the art of actually writing. Most people fail to realize that you got to tell a story. So there's 3 parts of an RFP, and that's request for proposal, right? When you're bidding in the federal government, even if you just do a request for information or anything like that, you normally have to compel them with a management approach, a technical approach, and a pricing strategy, right? Where you win at is that technical approach. It's the art of proposal writing. Normally, your management approach, it's not dry. It needs to be sexy. It needs to have some oomph in it. You need to tell that you got a bad team and can't nobody beat your team because these are the skill sets you're bringing to the table. But more importantly, what you need to do is make sure you have interpreted the statement of work and can tell them what they need to do to actually solve their problem. In that technical approach, you got to be so detailed that they want nobody but you. This is where 90% of small businesses fail. And now you're really failing because you know what's happening? You're using AI, and guess what everybody else is? Well, AI's brain sometimes is very, very linear, which means that all of y'all are putting in the same crap. And they can easily tell. So do not, unless you're training a brain and an AI and a bot, please do not think that AI is going to write your proposals. And there's some BS programs out here right now that are selling, saying, let us write your RFP and your federal government proposal, and it's a bot. And don't think that if 20 people have it, that you're not turning in the same proposal that everybody else has, because you are. This is where you really do need to tell the story. As a CEO, the only one can tell the journey about how bad your business is and how great you are is normally you, your people, and your team. So you really got to lean into your people to make sure your people understand the value add. If your employees don't think you're valuable, then you need to relook at your culture. Because a lot of times your employees is going to help you win it. Most of the times they're going to help you win it. When you're a CEO, you should be directing the ship. They're actually running the course. Right? You got to be doing some finagling and go out there and get business, but they're actually the ones executing. And they can tell you better than anyone the art of the deal and how you're going to actually make this happen. So it's key to make sure you write. Now, if you don't know how to write, this is where you secure a great proposal writer. How do you find a good proposal writer? You want to find out, and don't just take their word because they will lie. Everybody lies. They will be like, oh, I got a 30% win rate, a 20% win rate. Prove it. I want to talk to the client. I want to see the award schedule. I actually want to see the document that you submitted. I want to talk to the people who are actually doing the work. Are they performing on it? Are they losing money? Are they making money? Those are the people, or get some referrals from people who are winning. That's why you probably want to reach out to Michelle Taylor. She's got some excellent resources. She can probably give you some people that can write some amazing proposals. But again, as small businesses, what we say, oh, we don't have the money. This is why you have to be able to strategically understand how you come out of the gate. And when you come out of the gate and say all of a sudden you made $60,000 or $100,000, but you used to make 40, you spend that. No, you don't spend it. You invest that back in your business. There's many years that I never had a salary because I invested back every year, every bit, other than the 70,000 that I used to make, to put my business back on the map. Next slide. All right, here's some techniques, right? You need to sit down and compare yourself on you can do a SWOT analysis and things of that nature, strengths, opportunities, weaknesses, strength, but map yourself out against your competitors. A lot of times you just be like, oh, they be talking craziness, but they win everything. Well, why are they winning? You know, when I am in construction, there's a company that I competed against and I lost 14 times against them. 14. I knew we had great proposals, but we lost because they were the lowest bid. And then I started to say, well, there's no way we're going to ever win against them because I'm not going that low in order to do that job because I can't get the quality out. And guess what? That all the work that man won within a year and a half as they were executing, guess who got the call? I did, to come and clean up his mess. So sometimes stepping away and holding your value and your principle that this is my price and this reason's my price is because of my quality and what I provide. That's what you really want to have, right? And so actually the other thing that you need to address too, listen to your client. If you are smart enough, your client writes your proposal for you because your client normally won't shut up about the issue that they're having. And the good thing is, if you just really take in some great notes, you can come back and regurgitate everything that is needed in the proposal and provide your value to that to be a winning proposal. And now you've got to be able to brag. So I have a couple of mentees that hate talking about themselves. Oh, well, yeah, I just won 10 million, but it's not that much. Yeah, you need to learn how to brag. You don't have to be arrogant. You don't have to be a butt, but you need to know how to celebrate it. You celebrate it through press releases. You celebrate it through a win meetings, right? You have win meetings and you take pictures of your team being happy that all the effort that went in, you're celebrating that victory. You celebrate midpoint. Hey, we're halfway in this and we're still in the game and we're doing wonderful. You get your client to brag on you. Testimonies are the best brag than ever, and then you don't have to do much of anything. So if you execute, the testimony from your client, whether it's written or it's video, is the best thing you can ever have, because it's going to actually, another client can see that and be like, all right, my client from State Department used to rant and rave about my company, and I loved it, because the only thing I had to do was say, call them. They'll tell you. And they did. And it was the best past performance reference I could ever get. So keep in mind, if you don't know your competitors, find them. Clearly, put yourself up against them. If you really are crappy, then figure out how you fix your mess to come up better. And then call your client and figure out, hey, before that proposal in the government comes out, you already know the need is there. They're talking about it. They're writing a statement of work so they can get it out to you to bid. Have conversations ahead of time. So, because you can still talk and negotiate while it's out in the street. So talk to the client. They're going to tell you what they want. Listen. A lot of times we talk too much and we don't shut up and hear the client. And then lastly, again, focus on celebrating the victories. Get the testimonies, get them, put them in there, put the quotes inside the RFP, inside your proposal. In my technical approach, I'll say something like, State Department said Twyla, did XYZ, their company did XYZ. That rings volumes when that source selection team is reviewing it and go, all right, well, the State Department said that they, took their backlog down by 30%. Next slide. Okay. Value proposition, we talked about it. Critical win. Why is it critical to win contracts? Well, if you don't win anything, you should close the business and go get a job. Period. If you can't win, you should not be in this business, because there's no way you're going to survive. People are not going to give you this. And I will say this, and I know our platform, the Verizon platforms, talks about grants and everything else. Please do not think you can run your business on grants. Because if you think you're going to survive on a grant, you are sadly mistaken. And look at all the businesses right now that are going through with all that grant money and USAID money pulled, and they just shut their doors because they were resting on some laurels where they could not win sustainable contracts to balance their portfolio. If you don't have a balance, I've never had a grant ever to do any work, period. I actually give out grants and give people money, but I'm never going to have a grant to make myself whole as a business. And even nonprofits, you still need to compete. So having a critical win is good. Now, critical win, determinations. When I was doing a lot of federal work, our win rate was about 17 to 22%. And people go, well, that's crazy. So you put 100 contracts in and you only win 17 or 22? Yeah, that was excellent. And see, you got to know the environment that you're in. Now, when I hone in on the private side, my win rate is 40%. Why? Because it's relationship. When I go to the private sector and I'm working on a deal and they love Twyla, well, most likely Twyla's going to get the job. But you got to build the relationship, right? It really is relationship building. And if you do not have a relationship with the private community, it's about trust. In the government, it's about low bid. In private, it's about trust. Twyla says she can do it. I know she's going to be the one in the trench that I can fight with if some stuff go down. So I'm down with her. And they know that relationship. And so you got to know where your client is, right? Do they need somebody that they can jump in the trench with, or do they need somebody that's just going to be lowest bid? Now, let me tell you, government, and if you are going to do government work, let me tell you what the government is going to expect from you. They're going to expect from you stellar work for no money, which means most likely you are going to lose at the end. So I was top secret poly, so I could charge a little more of a rate than an average government contractor, because we had some specialties, right? And what I did. But if you ain't got no specialties and you're just an HR and you're going up against HR, well, guess what? The lowest bid will win. And if that lowest bid has a 6% margin, but your back office is running at a 19% overhead, you are ass out already. And you need to just pack your bag up before you even take the contract and go home, because you're not going to win. And this is why you got to know your number. Again, you got to take the class that is sitting in the Verizon platform. Because if you don't know your number, tonight I'm teaching how to price your product and service. I'm teaching a webinar. So when I send you my little link, you can go to the bottom, give me your information, and I'll send you the information to get to my webinar. But I'm teaching it because I'm tired of people asking me or trying to sell me a product. And if you go to my social media, you'll see that I just taught 50 women in Ghana. I taught 50 businesses in Ghana, all women. I wanted all women-owned businesses, and I was teaching them how to charge me. And I literally got people in Africa asking me, why are you telling them to charge you more money? I said, because they need to know how to make a profit, period. I need to understand. I'm not going to go over there and rip these people up. I want them to be able to do. That's value. That's value proposition. Next slide. Okay. Clear value, right? Your business plan and your business proposition has to have some type of value to it. You reduce operational costs by 20%. You have automation that saves you from doing 40 hours a week to 30 hours a week. What is your niche? With AI, you can actually say that now. If you are smart enough to hire a good person that can train these bots to be in your back office and answer some of the information that you don't want to do, you can get efficiencies and operational scaling that is amazing. You got to know how to use the technology to your advantage. Next slide. Okay, so we talked about that. Biggest thing that I really want to say is communicating with a unique benefit. A lot of times we just try to sing the same message that everybody else is singing. And when you started your business, you thought you started it for a reason, right? Do not ever forget why you thought you started your business. If it was to help small businesses, if it was to aid in this particular technology, remember what brought you there, right? And keep that unique benefit. Because normally when you start your business, you're just starting it because why? You are trying to solve a problem that somebody else is not solving. And if you're trying to solve a problem that somebody else is not solving, the way you do that is by having that unique conversation about your benefit. A lot of times as businesses grow, while you're scaling, your benefit should still be unique. And sometimes we lose that because we get removed and we're not focused. We got too many things happening out here and we're trying to do it. Stay focused to your niche and stay in your niche. And then those unique benefits automatically develop. Next slide. Okay. Addressing the need. We talked about it. Listen to the client. There's nothing else I can say. Listen to the client. Why do they need this work to be done anyway? People don't put out RFPs unless they got a problem. And if you look at the scope of work and you really dissect it, it's telling you their issue. Now solve it. And if you can't solve it, guess what? And say you only can solve one piece of it. Now what you do is go team. You can solve this piece, but there's 3 other businesses that can solve the other 2 pieces. Now come together. You can either joint venture. We'll talk about more of that in the bigger class, but you can either joint venture or just do a teaming, become a sub partner, right? Become a subcontractor, tier 1, tier 2. They all get paid. I don't care if I'm tier 7, and it really doesn't exist, but if I'm tier 2, that means I'm the lowest one in the totem pole, but I'm still gonna get paid. I might have a small scope, but that means I'm in the deal. And that's still part of your past performance. Next slide. All right, do your research. In the government, you can scan and FOIA and look up every single contract. You can go to sam.gov and you can find out every contract that was ever let, who got it, and how much. And see, this is the beautiful thing about knowing some numbers. And if you don't know numbers, find you somebody to do. I reverse engineer every one of the bids that won to see how they won it. And I reverse engineer their price. You got the scope. You see what they bid, reverse engineer it. You know now a range of their pricing. Can I now compete with that, or is that just too low? And then you make a decision. It's always going to be a go, no go strategy. And yes, you will put out 100 to win 20 or 17, but that's a great win rate when you bring in those 17 or those 20 that actually forms your company and as it scales and grows, right? And a lot of times they give you a question and answer period. This is where we also fail. We don't do our homework, right? We don't read the statement of work. We don't figure out, well, we got problems until we get in it and you can't ask any more questions. The question period is normally the first 2 weeks or so of putting out an RFP. You need to ask targeted questions to make sure you can frame your proposal strategy around the answer. Now, people say, well, you don't want to do that because you're going to give away your niche. No, not necessarily, because if you got the problem in the question, most likely they do too. You got to get creative. Some things you do want to throw over the curve to say, I need you to clarify this so I don't mess this up in how I respond to the proposal. So you got to be able to do that and do it in the right way. Next slide. Okay. And make sure you're talking customer language. Make sure it's tailored to them. So when I write for State Department, I have to write a different way than I write for DOD. DOD, I'm acronym woman. I know all the acronyms because I live and breathe it. But when I'm over at State Department, I got to try different. Know the language that your client teaches and needs to hear your proposal given back to. Next. Now I'm going fast because I want to get some questions and answers in. All right, showcase, you guys gonna do brag. Brag, tell them why you're so great. Make sure they know you're great. And if you're not great, then go hide up under some great companies and learn how to be great. It's nothing wrong with it. When you come out the gate, you're not ready to be prime. Don't let anybody fool you. And most people who get prime contracts right out the gate fail. You need to learn and watch and humble yourself under a bigger boy or bigger company that can help you. And even if they don't want to help you, you still put your ear to the ground. I still attended the meetings. I still worked the job. I still knew how they were operating. I see their dynamics. I see how their employees are moving. And I was able to emulate that. So sometimes you got to sometimes just get in and make sure you can emulate perfection. They have the money to be perfected. Remember, we normally don't coming out the gate. Next slide. Keep going. We already talked about that because I do testimonies and all that good stuff. We talked about that. Keep on moving. Pain points. All right. So, how do we impress our client? The way you impress your client is by being authentically you. People who know and have worked with Twyla in my company know exactly what they're getting. I'm very direct, but I also have employees that are very opposite of Twyla. And I actually have to know who I send in when they need it. A lot of my DOD clients, they want me because they want all the fluff removed and they want directness, right? And so I have those group of employees that do that. And then when I have people who want all the fluff, I normally stay away because I'm not the fluff girl. And so I stay my butt in the back until they call me and I need to do whatever I need to do. Know your lane and know your client. That's what impresses them the most. Because if you have the ability to give them exactly what their needs are and you can see them, then they see you. And that's how you get impressed. Go next. Mitigate risks. Part of mitigating risks is actually understanding the dynamics. It's about the research. I told you, you got to understand the specs. Read the document. If you do not read the document and you sign up for some stuff, guarantee you the government will sue you. They will default you. It will be an issue. So read. And if you don't know how to read what you're getting, find somebody that can and give you, as a CEO, the risk that you're about to take by moving forward. I wish somebody had done that for me when I got into construction. I I like building and design what I'm doing, but I hate what I started off doing because it was the low man work and it felt crazy. And I was not going to perpetuate Black folks the way they wanted me to perpetuate them in this cleaning role. So I was the rebel without a cause in construction. I still am. Most people see me coming, they know what they about to get, which is I'm not doing that work. You're going to put me in a building position to build. And now they see me building my own hotel. It's a whole different ballgame. Now I'm getting all the calls. So sometimes you got to take your marbles and get the hell out of there and show what you know. And that's what I did. And that's what I'm doing. And so sometimes it's easier to divest somewhere else so you don't have the drama. And then it's easier to enter back in. So kind of know your risks, mitigate them. Next slide. Okay, we already talked about that. Competitive position. Are you able to compete? There are certain places now I will not ever bid. I probably won't bid a lot of state and local work. You know why? Because it takes too damn long to get paid and it's the lowest bid. So a compound taking too long to get paid with lowest bid, that means you broke at the end. If it takes you 90 days to get paid and you got to float payroll, I was floating millions of dollars of payroll, right? And then by the time I got paid and the interest rate, I was making nothing. So I have made a decision that certain places I won't bid now. I'm boutique and I want to stay boutique and I'm in my lane and I can make money. Next. Focus on the responses. So these are the response areas. Pricing is always last. Pricing is always last. Management approach should already be written for every proposal. So the real thing that you're focused on every time you bid, the way you can get out 100 is you really are focusing on number 2, technical approach. Because that once you get that technical approach, it's going to drive your pricing. If you're bidding high-end things, it's going to drive a high-end price. If you're bidding mid-tier, it's going to be mid-tier. So these are the areas of focus. And if you get into the Verizon class and you ask for me one-on-one, you get to get some of this. All right. And I teach a class in there, a bigger class that talks about this. Next slide, please. Relationships. Now, this is universal, period. You do business with people you like. In the government, most likely you don't like some of the people you do business with. But I can tell you, you really want to do business with people you like. Because when things go wrong, you're going to have to be able to survive that. And if you already got an adversarial relationship, it's not going to work right. It's not going to go right. You need to be able to be a trusted agent. You got to build that trust. And sometimes that means that I courted State Department for almost 10 years before we won one contract. 10 years. I went to meetings, I did all those events, I went to some of their small business things, I met with the PTECs, met with the COs. I never bid. But let me tell you this, when I did bid, we won. And they knew me. And I had a relationship. But I knew I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready. So you got to know when you're ready, and you got to build relationships. And I mean strong ones. To this day, I've been out of that space for almost 10 years? And I still talk to the contracting officers that I did work with and my clients. We just had dinner before I went to Africa. So you still have those relationships. It's about relationships. They mean a lot. And you create and cultivate those, because when you leave, you still want to have those great times and memories that you had with those people, good and bad. Next slide. That was my win rate, 1722. And right now, like I said, on the private side, it's up to 40. But it's a lot more drama. It's a lot more drama, and it's a lot more risk when I'm in the private side. So you got to be able to know what is your win rate. And if your win rate and you can't calculate it, that means you need to now do some studying and some homework around you. Next slide, please. All right. We already know, name one of the key things that make you competitive. You guys put it in the chart. What makes your business, put it into the chat, please. What makes your business so unique? And it shouldn't be anything but one word. What makes it so unique? Give me some of those. Why you do that? We're going to go to the next slide. All right. We already talked about what you're doing to address those needs and how you're drilling in. Okay. Inclusive. I love that. Inclusive. On time. Very important. Inclusive. Next slide. Environmentally sound. That is a key word. Sustainability. Keyword. Right? Those are key keywords. You can go to the next slide. Because a lot of these I don't want to, and then this is just to recap. We talked about what we have. Now I want to leave, some time to answer some questions, because I think it's key that you have the opportunity to have me. I know we're over the limit, but I'm here to, I can stay. I don't have anything behind this. So I can answer as many questions as they will allow. And I'm going to put my information in the chat so you also can have it as well. So Phil, I'm going to let you can go to the end of it, please. Because I want to make sure. Yeah. Free resources. You can see me. That was me with them last year. I hope to be live next year, and it should be great. You can scan that. If you can't get to me, you can go to my website. I'm also going to put in the chat. I sent it to everyone. I'm going to put it in there. Now that is the league. You can actually go there, go to the bottom, put your name and your email. I want to offer everyone that's on here. I would love to do an assessment and a roadmap of your current business. And that's just some time with me to kind of work out where you're at. That's free. I offer that because I'm going to point you back to some of these classes that Verizon is offering so you can get in the game and make sure you're staying relevant. Okay, so please go to the league, look at it, go to the very bottom. You can put your name and email. Whoever comes in today, I'll have my IT person send back an assessment and we will get you on the calendar. The only thing, keep in mind, I'm going away for a couple of weeks, so I'm not talking to anybody in a couple of weeks, so it will not be this month. That's all. But go ahead, Phil. I'm gonna let you take it. We can do some questions if they have it.
Wow, Twyla, that was amazing. First of all, I want to thank you for an amazing abbreviated workshop. Ladies and gentlemen, we have been treated to something special. And that picture, by the way, is the first time I actually met Twyla last year at our conference. She's there with Michelle Kober, a leader at Verizon. And it was as much information as you received here, there was tenfold that was shared in that workshop. So I was really, really proud to meet Twyla there. Now, we do have to go into a number of questions. Again, that was awesome. You kept it 100. And then judging by the chat, everyone benefited from this. So Now we'd like to open the floor to address some of your live questions. And I see that we do have one that has already come in. How do you build a successful connection with the community while maintaining a business?
Well, I think you got to find your tribe. Okay, that the key thing is finding your tribe. And your tribe sometimes is not your business lane. So you have to put yourself in some uncomfortable positions. And I think sometimes we try to put ourselves in too many comfortable positions. And that's pretty much the downfall. If everybody is like you, then what are you getting unique to actually scale your business? I want my clients to be a broad brush of people. That means you need to be in a broad brush of organizations. The Impact League that I established, we have people from Canada, Africa, and the US. Broad, white, black, everybody. All kind of, I don't care what you are. I mean, we're business owners, right? We opened up and we ended up having 94 businesses immediately come in for coaching. Immediately. And now they got an ecosystem where they're passing each other. We meet quarterly, we do dinners, we have a summit at the end of the year. I mean, every year. And so you got to be able to find your tribe. And if you don't have a tribe, go and make sure you're getting them. If they all look like you, that ain't your tribe. Because here's the thing, you have to learn how to sell to everyone, not just one group, one color, one creed, nothing, everyone. If your product is that, if it's a woman-based product, you should be selling to all women. Now, I know many businesses limit themselves to one group because that's what they know. And then when they get, tapped out or plateaued, then they're frustrated. You got to build a marketing strategy that sings to all. Here's the beautiful thing about the internet. You can reach millions of people in a click. And so you better understand your new ecosystem. You got to understand. And so for those people who are putting in the chat their emails, I want you to go to the Impact League. It's www.impactleague.co. And at the bottom of my website, go and put your name and email in, and that's how you'll get the coaching session. I won't take it from here. I can't take it from the chat. So please go to the website, go to the bottom of the page, and then it's our newsletter. And what you'll subscribe to, we'll send you an assessment in order to get that one-on-one. There you go.
Perfect,
Okay.
perfect.
All right.
Right.
So hopefully that question was answered. Find your tribe and make sure they don't all look like you.
Yes, it does. And thank you so much for that. And I know that we've gone over a little bit, but if you missed the beginning of today's webinar, feel free to send us an email with your remaining questions at programs@usblackchambers.org. Twyla, I want to thank you for your time today.
Thank
This
you.
has been very refreshing, very powerful, and our audience definitely received the information. And we appreciate you. We appreciate the work that you're doing in helping to build small businesses in our community. So thank you.
No, I appreciate you. Thank you, Phil. Thank you for everything you've done and you guys continue to do. The programming is excellent. I would love to be on the stage and have a conversation about how to go global. Because I think one thing that we need to talk about is there's many opportunities with the world being the internet as it is, there's opportunities, and expanding globally actually also gives you that confidence to actually sell your product and more confidence to come back to the US to know how to tailor it to the right audience. So I thank you for everything you've done. And Verizon, I always salute you. Thank you, Verizon, for staying true to the mission, the cause, and doubling down in the midst of crazy, doubling down to make sure that these small businesses have resources to take them to the next level. So thank you again.
Amen. 10 toes down, and we definitely appreciate them. And we are going to close everyone out here. Now, for those who are looking to join Buy Black, if your firm is looking to increase its revenue opportunities, USBC Buy Black is the first Black certification program with a business directory, and it provides businesses that certify specific access to private and public procurement opportunities and highlights and other benefits. So definitely encourage you all to participate in the Buy Black platform. This online program can help prepare you for the contracting space as a documents preparation guide. So certify today by visiting usblackchambers.org/certification. Now, this next resource is the USBC Resource Desk, and it's supported by Wells Fargo, another one of our partners, and they provide a crucial support to diverse and minority-owned businesses and small businesses. It's a resource hub that offers expert advice, mentorship, and access to financial tools and opportunities. And it also aims to promote equitable economic growth and help entrepreneurs thrive through targeted assistance and strategic guidance. Now, we want you all to visit this resource page, take advantage of all the resources, and then stay connected with USBC, whether that's an email from myself or Tiffany, who's on the call, or our program's email, so that we can get that information to you. And then also joining USBC helps you to get exclusive access to some of these benefits. Next up, I want to talk about how USBC, we partner with Verizon Small Business Digital Ready program. Now, this complimentary program provides access, as you've seen, to crucial resources, cutting edge tools, and expert guidance that's tailored just for small businesses like you. So we encourage you, if you haven't already, enroll today and take your business to new heights with Verizon's support. And then lastly, I want to talk about the U.S. Black Chambers, Inc., our enthusiastic partnership with SCORE. Now, SCORE is a highly regarded nonprofit association dedicated to helping small businesses grow and achieve their goals through education and mentorship. We encourage you all to actively engage with the SCORE mentorship program. And then lastly, I want to talk about our national conference. Now, this summer, we're celebrating 16 years of elevating Black businesses at the 2025 USBC National Conference. Now, that's the Sweet 16, and it's presented by American Airlines. It's going to take place live in Washington, D.C., and the theme this year is Power, Policy, and Prosperity. Now, this year's conference is more than just a gathering, it's a movement. And we're convening bold leaders, visionary entrepreneurs, and change agents to drive economic transformation across Black America. Now, from high impact sessions and strategic networking to even a cookout, we're going to display culture and our Monte Carlo charity gala. Now, this Sweet 16 event is purpose in motion. So definitely register if you haven't already. It takes place July 30th through August 1st. It will take place in Washington, D.C. Make sure to join us because the future of Black business is being built here. And you can register now at usbccon.com, usbccon.com. Now, for more events like these, we invite you to visit our website and register today online at usblackchambers.org. Here's the QR code for those that would like to start registering today. Now, we also encourage you to follow us on social media at usblackchambers.org. And if today's forum prompted any additional questions and interests, feel free to contact us at programs@usblackchambers.org. Now, as we close, I want to again thank our very special guest, Twyla Garrett. I want to give a special shout out to my co-manager and producer, Tiffany Mays Holor, for an awesome production job. And also want to give a big thanks to Leo Byrne and Elizabeth Detka and the Verizon Small Business Digital Ready program team. And I want to thank you all on behalf of our president, Ron Busby Sr., our board, and our staff for attending and engaging with us today. Have a great week and a safe and happy weekend. Thank you.